Alright, welcome back to the shop. Today we got another die in our Die Hard series. I already broke the screws loose on this one. This is a 1/4 inch die. This one has some broken teeth, so I got some new old stock, slightly rusted, but we'll clean them up. Die teeth, got some new die teeth for it, so hopefully that'll work out. And or maybe they're just dies. I guess they're just dies, and this would be the die stock. I guess I corrected myself. Okay, anyway, we'll get this apart and see how shiny we can make it look. That is going to need to go to the vise. Be right back. Okay, so we're back. We got ourselves some of these, and we're gonna pound these out with the screwdriver of shame. And basically, I'm not overly worried about them. I'm gonna try not to shatter them because they are high-speed steel. Might be able to use the high speed for something else in the future. We'll see. So for now, we'll just try and get these out. Here we go. Okay, so there we go. Had a little camera mishap. That's okay. It's hard to work around the camera with the with everything. But here's our broken die. I don't know if you can see that or not. There's our broken die. So we'll finish cleaning up this die stock, and we'll put the all new dies in it after we give her a nice paint job. All right. Okay, so when you use a wire wheel, you want to make sure you're on the lower part of the wire wheel, like down here, the workpiece, because if it were to snag or something like that, it'll come out. If you were up higher in the radius of this and holding this piece, it could throw it out at you, and that would really ruin your day. So that's really one good safety trick for wire wheels. And also you want to use a pair of these things, because wires spinning at a high speed, really not the best for your eyeballs to get a wire in there. So here we go. We're going to turn this on and clean this up. Alright, so there we go. We got that cleaned up. A little bit more to do on it here and there. We'll do the back side, and we got to get the inside here. But that's starting to clean up. You can see it's actually using the sides of the wheel a little bit, because what that does is there's always some stray wire strands, and they get into these areas a little bit better. So it's just a little trick I picked up over the years. You just got to do what feels right when you do these things. So we're going to continue with this, kind of monotonous and whatnot, but hey, it's all part of cleaning stuff up and making it look nice again. Alright, so there we go. There's that piece. That's all cleaned up. Nice and shiny. Ready to go for another 40 years. Alright, so here we go. Same thing on this thing. We're just gonna run around and wire brush the surfaces we can, and then we'll clean up the rest we can't with another tool. Here we go. Okay, so we're getting somewhere with it. Just takes a little time getting it there, slowly but surely. Okay, so since we can never do things just simple, what we're going to do is we're also going to tear apart the Toledo counterpart to the Ridgid that we're working on. This die I think is an older design. I don't really know a whole lot of the difference between Toledo and Ridgid. I'm pretty sure they're not actually interchangeable. But this too is a 1/4 inch die for pipe, and this is the Toledo. You can see their manufacturing marks here. It's a 12, not a 12R. Ridgid is the 12R. And this has the world's most frustrating fastener Phillips on it. So we're going to see if we can get these out. Hopefully we don't screw them up. See if we can get this die apart, and we'll start cleaning it up. Don't get cocky. That seemed way too easy. Goes to show you just need to talk dirty to it and they come apart. Alright, what do we got here? Can't say I ever had a Toledo die apart before, so learning curve coming up. Okay, that's out. Okay, so it's made a little differently than the Ridgid. Make sure we don't have any reason why it doesn't appear to be indexed. This also has about 1 billion years worth of dried up oil and grease in it. Wow. Yeah. Yummy. Alright, we'll keep going. There we go. Die number 4 out. It's hard to tell if that's broken, if that's how they made it. 1/4 inch Toledo die. Interesting. Definitely different than the Ridgid. There we go. Let's keep going. Okay, since we're doing 2 at the same time, I thought I'd show some of the difference. This is a Ridgid 1/4 inch die, and this is a Toledo 1/4 inch die tooth. They're both number 1s, so that's the first cutter, and they're very, very different. They're held in differently, different design of the dies. I'm not going to say one's better than the other. It looks like the Toledo has just a hair bit more mass on the end here, and the Ridgid Toledo's also longer, but the Ridgid also is a bigger block here, and the Toledo kind of tails off. I don't know if it makes a difference or not. You can see the Ridgid has a bit more relief cut in it here, whereas the Toledo's just kind of blunt. They both have relief here as well for the end of the die, so it seems like the Ridgid's a little bit more refined, but this could be a considerably newer version of the tool over this. This could be a quite old die tooth here. I don't have any newer Toledo stuff. I don't know when Toledo stopped making stuff, but they could have incorporated this chip raker, as it would be called, into their dies. I honestly don't know, but there we go. There's one difference. Okay, and while we're comparing oranges to apples here, this is the top piece that holds the dies in place from both the Ridgid and the Toledo. Here we can see the Ridgid is cast. Looks like it's cast anyhow. and it's pretty refined. It's a nice quality piece. The Toledo, however, appears to have been sheared and then die struck for the number 12 and quarter, little Toledo emblem, and the Toledo there. So that's a considerably cheaper part to make than this. The thickness is comparable. The Ridgid's thicker, but yeah, I think in this instance the Ridgid's probably a better component than the Toledo here. They're both obviously serve their purpose, but here you can see this is where the retention for these Ridgid dies. They sit in these grooves, whereas the Toledo doesn't have that arrangement. It'll sit differently, and we'll take a look at that when we get to the rest of the die stock. But yeah, just another little comparison there. Toledo's bigger, screw hole sizes are different, but yeah, there we go. Another oranges to apples, Toledo and Ridgid. So we're playing around with these 1/4-inch dies, the Ridgid and the Toledo, and I had cleaned most of the paint off of the Toledo, and I thought I'd play around with just degreasing it because it had just had tons of you know, years worth of grease on it. I thought, let's see what this product does. So I poured a bunch of this product into a coffee can, and I just dumped the dye right in the coffee can with it. And I already lifted it out, but I thought I'd do a little reveal here. And it just kind of surprised me. This thing really cleaned up. I mean, it lifted off a lot of the paint. You can see there's dirt here. Everything's just smooth, clean metal. Super clean. I'm really impressed. I never really played around with products like that other stuff that a lot of guys use. I just thought I'd see if I could get the grease to cut on this. So it does say not to leave the parts sit for more than 24 hours in this, so I'm going to take this in and rinse it. But so far, I'm really quite impressed with this, actually. Alright, we're back. I got this thing rinsed off, and I just wanted to show this thing really cleaned very well. And you can't feel it, but this thing is super clean. Like, there's no remnants of oil on here, and it lifted most of the paint. You can see there's just a whiff of some areas, and this whole thing was literally filled with paint, these two pockets, so got most of the paint out. It's just I was getting close to the 24-hour period, and the directions say not to leave parts in for more than 24 hours, so I thought I'd best get them out. But really impressed with how this cleaned up. Really nice. So just some light wire wheeling on this yet. This will be ready for paint coming up soon.